Now at 5, flood-damaged vehicles are making their way to Indiana car dealers. WRTV investigates how you can spot one.
We knew what our challenges were. We knew what they were up until the pandemic hit.
Despite the new challenges brought on by the pandemic, census workers have found creative ways to reach specific groups in our community. Plus the reason why it's crucial you participate.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
First at 5, a warning tonight if you're looking for your next car. Thanks for joining us here. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starantino. A growing number of flood-damaged vehicles are coming to Indiana, and if you're not careful, you could end up buying one.
WRTV investigates. Kara Kenny explains how you can tell if a car was damaged in a hurricane or a tropical storm.
With Indiana as dry as it is, it's hard to think about flooding. But thousands of cars were flooded down south with hurricanes and tropical storms, and many of them are making their way to Indiana. Flood-damaged vehicles are popping up in states where car buyers are not suspecting. Indiana now ranks 14th in the nation when it comes to the number of flood-damaged vehicles on the road, with more than 10,000. In Indianapolis, the number of flooded vehicles is up 33%, according to new numbers released this week from Carfax. The company says in the wake of Hurricane Laura and other storms, more waterlogged vehicles are headed to Indiana to be sold by dealers and individual sellers. Carfax shared this video with us to show just how easy it is to clean up flood damage on a vehicle.
They were able to totally clean up that vehicle in less than 5 hours. It looks good as new. If you were an unsuspecting car buyer, you would never know that it had been through. These vehicles have issues, mechanical, electrical, safety issues. They're literally rotting from the inside out, and they might look fine to the eye, but what that salt water is doing inside the vehicle can cause a lot of issues down the line.
You can protect yourself by looking for signs of water damage before you buy the vehicle, such as look for damp carpets, smell for a musty odor. You can also take the vehicle to a mechanic and run a VIN check before you buy. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
And thank you, Kara. Of course, it's looked like rain at times today. We don't have any rain in the forecast this evening or tonight. It's getting a little bit brighter. We had the fog this morning, the low-hanging cloud cover through the day. That is the view to downtown Indianapolis. But we're starting to see some thin spots. As you look at the radar, just to confirm, we got lots of clouds but no rain. The next best chance for rain, that arrives Saturday night. Some showers and thunderstorms potentially, and that's fairly well placed because I think most of Saturday will be dry. Not difficult to find out where the front is located or the boundary between the cooler air and the warmer air to the south. 86 in Bedford, 15 degrees cooler than that up in Peru. Indy sits at a modest 75. There's your wind out of the northeast at around 10 miles per hour. The changes for tomorrow, more on our weekend rain potential, and I think what you'll like about early next week. That's all coming up.
Thanks, Kev. See you soon. Time is running out to complete your census form. The count impacts how much federal funding will be funneled into your community. But according to past census data, some populations are less likely to participate. WRTV's Alyssa Donovan found out why that is and how a local group is working to get them counted.
The deadline for the census is around the corner, and census workers are going door to door, even sitting outside of Goodwill to make sure everyone is counted. Shalia Walker already filled out her census, telling the worker outside of the Goodwill on West Washington Street that it was easy.
You know, you just got to fill out a questionnaire, just asking you a few questions about your household.
Walker is one of thousands who have already completed the questionnaire. As of today, 83.3% of households in Marion County are counted. She's also part of a community that is historically undercounted, Black and Latino Americans.
But one of our greatest challenges has always been distrust in government.
Count Me Indy has worked to specifically ensure these populations are counted in the census this year, partnering with organizations across Indiana like Goodwill.
A lot of the folks that we serve are marginalized folks, Black and brown, and we feel like it is part of our mission to make sure that they are represented and that we are helping them to better their position in life The census is part of that.
We want to make sure that the community is receiving the messaging from people that they trust.
This challenge, one they planned for. However, the pandemic added another hurdle. Count Me Indy canceled more than 90 events intended for outreach. And they're aware that something like the census is not a priority in most homes right now.
People who are already struggling to put food on their tables and then throwing in a global pandemic and possibly losing their main source of income, attention has been spread so thin.
Which is why they're doubling down on efforts. If you haven't completed the census yet, expect a knock at the door and another mailer soon reminding you to do so.
It guides the distribution of over $675 billion annually to communities across our nation. If we miss one person, our city misses out on up to $30,000 over the next decade.
It's very important for the funds for your community.
The deadline to complete the 2020 census is September 30th. I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
The census is how the government decides where to distribute funds for programs like WIC, SNAP, and Medicare, along with housing, healthcare, transportation, and education. It's all based on population.
The number of Hoosiers who have tested positive for coronavirus has now topped 102,000. With 764 cases added to the count today, the overall number is 102,243. Today's reported cases were recorded between last Thursday and yesterday. The overall positivity rate remains steady at 8.8%. The state also reports an additional 13 COVID deaths for a statewide total of 3,186. Those deaths occurred between August 25th and yesterday.
Indiana lawmakers are preparing to partially move some of their 2021 legislative session activity out of the State House over coronavirus concerns. A joint House-Senate committee endorsed a plan this week to allow the 100-member House to hold its floor sessions and committee meetings in the auditorium and conference rooms in a state office building next to the State House. The 50-member State Senate is planning to keep meeting in its State House chamber, but will convert its public gallery into seating for senators in order to allow sufficient distancing when the legislative session starts in January.
The country can't stop talking today about that bombshell revelation from veteran journalist Bob Woodward. Numerous recordings of President Trump admitting to deliberately downplaying the coronavirus for months, despite knowing how deadly a threat it posed to our country. ABC's Inez de la Cotera is in Washington tonight with the latest.
Today, fresh fallout after new audio excerpts obtained by CNN appear to show President Trump admitting to veteran journalist Bob Woodward that his decision to publicly downplay the severity of COVID-19 was intentional.
It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus.
Trump allegedly making those comments on February 7, but here he is just days later.
He asked about the coronavirus, which is very well under control in our country.
This is a flu. This is like a flu.
Time magazine preparing to release this new cover as the U.S. death toll closes in on 200,000 lives lost to the coronavirus. Democrats lashing out.
He'd been saying for a long time the whole thing was a hoax. His delay, denial, and distortion of what was happening has caused many deaths.
Kristen Urquiza lost her father, Mark Anthony, to COVID-19 and slammed the president's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic at the Democratic National Convention.
Dad was a healthy 65-year-old. His only pre-existing condition was trusting Donald Trump, and for that, he paid with his life.
The president confirming he did downplay the virus, insisting he wanted to keep the public calm.
We don't want to instill panic. We don't want to jump up and down and start shouting that we have a problem that is a tremendous problem, scare everybody.
But critics pointing out the president hasn't always shied away from fear-mongering.
Remember this, if Biden wins the violent mobs, you see these mobs all over the place, they're Biden people.
In all, the president reportedly did 18 interviews with Bob Woodward for his new book, Rage, which comes out next week, just 7 weeks before the election. Inez de la Cotera, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead on WRTV, empowering young girls to use their voice. How a safe space for Girl Talk is preparing girls for their future with lifelong skills and knowledge. Also still ahead, making a statement. How the NFL season will kick off with a very visible message for everyone.
And we'll talk about your Colts forecast. Of course, they're down in Florida, Jacksonville on Sunday. Temperatures for us over the weekend will go up. We're only at 75 right now.
WRTV's Hiring Hoosiers is connecting Hoosiers of all ages with tools that can lead them to successful careers. Girl Talk Incorporated is a mentorship and empowerment program for girls ages 10 through 18. I had a chance to see how their efforts help girls make the best career choices.
Those are things that your counterparts are already doing.
This is a room full of young girls with big goals. What do you want to be when you grow up?
A dermatologist.
I want to be a scientist, but mostly a chemist.
I want to go to IUPUI, and I want to be a social worker.
And there is one woman who has made it her mission to make sure Indianapolis girls have what they need to make their dreams a reality. With her organization, Girl Talk Incorporated.
Our goal is to provide girls in this community with the tools, education, and resources and life skills that they need, so when they go out in this world to try to navigate it, they won't be like a deer in the headlights.
Sonia Cook organizes 8-week courses throughout the year focusing on specific topics to ensure girls and teens have the knowledge to make educated choices now and in the future. Girl Talk covers career skills, college, sex education, and self-confidence, to just name a few. In this specific class today, the girls are learning about finances.
Financial literacy is not taught in all schools. And when you grow up in the urban community, you are not getting this financial education. And I felt that it was important for girls to understand that if you understand finances at an early age, you can make responsible decisions.
For Sonia, this mission is personal because she has lived it.
So I was a teen mom. I had 3 kids by the time I was 18 years old, and I was kind of lost. And I didn't have somebody to talk to. And I didn't want another girl to feel like that or go through that when there are people like me and other people that want to be there for young girls.
What shines through her mission of Girl Talk is creating connections for girls who may not have them at home.
I'm not really good at communicating, really, because of like younger childhood trauma and stuff, and it's kind of difficult. I like it. I think that Miss Sonia actually listens, and that she really does want us to succeed.
It's a space for young girls to learn a little more about themselves too.
I learned that my voice can speak up a little bit more louder, and that I am really confident in lots of different things. I just gotta find my confidence and find the road that I need to travel on more and be more braver and be more wise.
It just makes you feel better about yourself. This class makes me feel like I can succeed in life, and I can actually go somewhere when I get older and get out of high school. Before this class started, I didn't really like talking in front of a lot of people, and I was really shy, but Miss Sonia helped me speak out and show my voice, and I want to be able to help girls my age around the world too.
Girl Talk is an opportunity for young Hoosier girls to learn life lessons that are not always taught in school and empower these girls to become successful women on whatever path they choose to take.
And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, blue, or green. All of us women go through a lot of the same things. And so, we want to make sure that girls are confident when they go out here in this world. We want to make sure that they have the knowledge and the skills that they need to be successful. We want to make sure that they have self-love. We want to make sure that they have self-worth. We want to make sure that they are confident in the decisions that they make.
And the next 8-week session begins this weekend. It is $25 per girl for the entire 2 months, which covers the courses, lunches, and a Girl Talk gift bag at the end of the session. To learn more about Girl Talk, sign up for a session or donate volunteer. Check out this story on WRTV.com.
Indianapolis-based Simon Property Group is teaming up with Brookfield Property Group to buy JCPenney out of bankruptcy. The tentative deal will save roughly 70,000 jobs. Penney's has been struggling for years and hasn't had a profitable year since 2010. The pandemic hit the company hard, forcing it to declare bankruptcy in mid-May. More business news tonight. Target is targeting diversity. The retailer announced plans today to increase its black workforce by 20% in the next 3 years. Target's chief diversity and inclusion officer says leadership development and training programs will also be offered to black team members. In 2019, about 15% of the company's employees were black, but representation dropped to just 5% among officers. The NFL season kicks off tonight with the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Houston Texans. For the Chiefs, they will start the season with visible social justice messages on the field. The words "End Racism" have been painted on one end zone in Arrowhead Stadium, and at the opposite end it will read, "It takes all of us." The message comes after a summer of Black Lives Matter protests and calls to end police brutality. All 32 NFL teams are participating in the effort to support social justice this season. The Colts kick off their season Sunday in Florida, and we hope the weather is good for them down there, Kevin.
I want you to just soak this in, Mark. Can you see me? I don't know if you can see me or not. Yes, the Colts kick off the season. This needs to be inflated before game time. The football I have is not ready for prime time. It will be around 90 degrees for the Colts, the heat index of around 100, and the chance for thunderstorms. That is Florida weather in early September. Well, as a Hoosier State, we're below average right now. 75 the temperature in Indy. Kokomo's at 72. But look at Bloomington. You go to the south, you're on the other side of the frontal boundary where the warm, humid air continues to be. That veil of warmth will be drawn back north, but not until the weekend. Tomorrow, another day where most of us stay in the 70s. Our warmest days will be as we get to Saturday and a Sunday. Don't panic here. I jumped to the 7-day accidentally, but I'm going to fix that here. Give me 1 second to get back on track. Our warmest temperatures will be Saturday and Sunday, but the humidity will also be dropping as we go into the weekend, and we'll get set up for what becomes a very comfortable start to early next week. Temperatures around the region in the 70s now will fall into the 60s tonight. The rain that you see to the west stays to the west. The next best chance of rain here, that will be Saturday night. Only 53 in Des Moines, while it's 81 in St. Louis, 75 in Indy. The warmth is being pushed to the south temporarily because of that north-northeast wind. Clouds, not as much fog tonight. Temperatures in the lower 60s. During the day tomorrow, 70 by 11 a.m., 76 the afternoon temperature at 2, and we peak just a couple degrees warmer than that. There's your northeast breeze. It will gust to 20 miles per hour. And keep our humidity dropping. So tomorrow, one of the lower humidity days we've had in a while with temperatures in the upper 70s. We talked about the Colts playing football, high school football. On Friday night, a good night, a little breeze. Sun sets tomorrow night before 8 o'clock. I don't know if you get emotional about that, but another sign that the season is about to change. Temperatures on 3 occasions, Monday morning, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning, all in the 50s for lows. You can open the windows once again. We'll enjoy lots of sunshine as well early next week. If you're wondering about rain, our next best chance, as I mentioned, comes Saturday evening and Saturday night. We've got to wait until then. Back to you.
I remember feeling the teeth piercing through my hand, and I was like, off.
If only it had been that easy. Still ahead, a teen's encounter with a shark changed her life forever. And now she is sharing her journey exclusively with ABC. Welcome back. This summer, there have been a number of shark sightings and encounters off American shores that have left some beaches temporarily closed and some beachgoers a little wary. Tonight here on WRTV, Good Morning America anchor Robin Roberts shares the amazing story of Paige Winter, the North Carolina teenager who has defied the odds after being mauled by a bull shark last June when she went for a swim.
Hi. I'm Paige.
No, really?
How are you? How are you? Good to meet you.
I can jiggle it up.
I've been wanting to see this hair. Last summer, the world got its first look at this inspiring teen just weeks after doctors amputated her severely injured leg.
I'm still Paigey, just a little different.
The shark didn't touch your spirit.
It did not.
That incredible spirit now on full display after a year of miraculous recovery.
That was awesome.
You ain't seen me step like that in a month.
No, man.
What we're witnessing, guys, does not happen. You don't see a patient just starting out on a prosthetic, let go of the rails and walking like this.
Within months of the shark attack, the determined high schooler made it back to school just in time for her senior year.
Thanks, I ain't got no legs.
Sharing her private struggles with us.
I'm sad that I can't see my boyfriend today.
And also her many triumphs. Her homecoming.
Homecoming queen candidate Paige Winter.
Prom. And recently, her high school graduation.
Paige Delaney Winter.
These, she says, are just her first steps toward a whole new life of promise and purpose.
I would like to be an environmental activist first and foremost. Sharks are very demonized, like violence towards these mostly docile creatures. Like, they're not monsters.
And that's quite a sentiment from someone who nearly lost her life to a shark. Tonight, Paige and her family share more of their amazing story in hopes of inspiring others. Shark Attack, the Paige Winter story with Robin Roberts, airs tonight at 10 here on WRTV. This year, the city of Indianapolis is on track for a record number of homicides, all new at 6. We are looking deeper into the numbers and showing the impact this trend is having on our community. And next on the news at 5:30, there are food pantries to help people get through the pandemic. Now there's an effort just like it to help their pets. The community is stepping up to make sure everyone in the family is fed.